Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? Appreciate you joining us here on the DLLS Mavs Emergency Podcast as Kyrie Irving and the Dallas Mavericks come to an agreement on a 3-year, $119 million deal, according to our national NBA insider, Mark Stein, where Kyrie Irving declines his $43 million player option to get a deal done with the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, I'm your host, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato. Really appreciate you hanging out with us here. Our guy Elijah produced it for us on this Tuesday night, Tim Cato, where Kyrie Irving had a decision to make today, whether to decline or opt into his $43 million player option. Not only does he stay with the Mavericks, but he gets a new deal done to stay with Dallas. 3 years, $119 million. Good piece of business once again done by the Dallas Mavericks here.
This is expected. Kyrie Irving was always coming back to the Dallas Mavericks. There's no doubt about that. Even if there was even a fraction of doubt, the idea, like, it was very clear that Kyrie views this as his team. He views this as his squad with unfinished business. That he has been posturing, that he has been talking, about we and us. He was going to come back. The only question was what the scenario precisely was, that he was going to come back to the team, whether he was just going to opt in. And opt-in was always the least likely scenario, and quite frankly, I think would have indicated that there was some, lack of connection between him and. But we don't even have to worry about that. He opts out. He signs a 3-year deal, and for months, to be honest, this was the league-wide expectation that Kyrie was, he'd opt out, he'd resign, and really the only question was the dollar figure that Dallas was going to have to pay him. Obviously, there's some reporting a little bit earlier today that indicated, it's possible it could have been posturing and just an idea that Kyrie would love a little bit more. And I don't know if the Mavericks knew for sure. I mean, I had somebody on the Mavericks asking me yesterday, what my feel or sense of, what Kyrie was ultimately going to be okay taking, or what dollar figure, if I had any sense of what that was going to be, and I didn't, but it's still interesting. I think to some extent, the team was certainly hopeful to get him at this figure, something that is, 3,120 was a good starting point. 3,119 is going to be the final figure for Dallas, which brings them just slightly below that figure. But it does free up the ability for them to use the taxpayers' mid-level exception, which is a pretty small amount of money. It's about double the minimum, depending on the year of the veteran, but it's not the minimum. And, that matters. That is another piece that they have going into the summer to go get another guard, because, I can tell you with 100% certainty that that's where they would be targeting the use of that exception. We'll see what happens. There's still time. Certainly there are moves that Dallas is going to make. But yeah, I think that's where things stand. And when Dallas looked into this negotiation with Kyrie, basically, I think if before Kyrie's injury, he was on pace to outperform his contract.
Agreed.
By his play on the court, he was potential, like he was going to be an all NBA consideration before his injury. But the injury happened, and you can't take that away, and you can't deny the fact that he's now a guard approaching his mid-30s, a smaller guard, and he's going to miss a lot of the next season. So I don't think Dallas in their negotiation and the price point they were looking to pay Kyrie, I don't think they have any concerns about who Kyrie is going to be once he gets back to his injury. But I do believe that they're hoping to pay him a salary figure around $40 million average, annual. I believe they're trying to bake in the known fact that he's going to miss half, if not more, of next season. So, in that context, he's signing a 3-year deal. That is 1/6 of the contract that he's signing. So if you want to go and add 1/6 onto, the salary that he's now earning, that would be what, something like oh man, math on the fly. It'd be about 47 or 48. Like maybe that's the number that it would have been before the injury. But now that you know that, and it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot for Kyrie to be in.
Sure.
It's a tough spot for anybody. But specifically players going into a contract negotiation with a known injury and a known absence. That did affect this. And ultimately, the fact that that Kyrie was willing to sign the extension and he, didn't push back the deadline for his opt-in, and ultimately did what the league-wide expectation was. Everything is copacetic. Kyrie, always wanted to come back, was always happy to come back. And quite frankly, it worked out pretty smoothly. So expected news, good news, and news that gives Dallas the extra tiny little bit of flexibility that they were hoping to get. And now we just see what comes next.
Several thoughts come to mind as we discuss this. Number one, Kyrie Irving has now certified himself as a legend with the Dallas Mavericks. This is not just the first time, the second time now that Kyrie Irving has taken a little bit of a haircut in order to stay with this basketball team. So that's thought number one. Number two, it opens up the $5.7 million mid-level exception that you talked about, more financial flexibility for this team to go out and make a move to go get a guard to help out until Kyrie Irving gets back. And most importantly here, both sides were able to come to an agreement and to do so with the future, not just in mind, but also now you have aligned Nico Harrison. You've now aligned Anthony Davis. You've now aligned Kyrie Irving. And in some ways, you've also aligned now Jason Kidd, all on the same 3-year window.
Well,
Jason Kidd has the 2 years.
I was going to point out there is one person who is contractually not aligned.
Yes. Jason Kidd still would need another year on that extension to be fully aligned with Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving now, and of course, Nico Harrison. So if that does get done as well, theoretically, you've put all of them on the same time frame and time window. You've now put yourself in a position to say, this is the time that we have to be together to try and go get this championship within these 3 years. And now with the addition, presumably, of Cooper Flagg tomorrow night, you've got some working parts on how this will begin to look from a vision standpoint. So I think that, to me, is big here when you start thinking about the alignment, Brian Gregory, on what that looks like going forward for this basketball team. I think that's important to point out here with the way that this has gotten done. And top of the business, you've already gotten done with Daniel Gafford as well. So those are the immediate thoughts that come to mind in terms of what this looks like for this team now and that vision going forward here.
Yeah, that works really well with Cooper's rookie scale contract, which
yes,
it gives you a hard expiration point on this window. It doesn't mean that Kyrie Irving is absolutely gone from the team. If he's at that point, maybe he is approaching retirement. Who knows? It's 3 years is ways off. None of this means that anybody who's under contract is like for sure, not on the team. But it does put a clear delineation mark that says there's 3 years of Cooper Flagg helping this championship core that was built try to win a championship. And then it's Cooper's team. It may be Cooper's team much, much sooner. But in the context of Dallas is not choosing to go all out in a rebuild around Cooper, not to say they need to, but they're keeping the team as is. They're adding Cooper to it. Again, keeping the team largely as is, adding Cooper to it with the expectation that Cooper Flag is the future, but the present is still the present. That's the Mavericks, line of operation here. And there are certainly aspects that I have expressed on this show, concerns or just uncertainties that I 100% agree with their confidence and, that this is for sure going to work. But when it comes to that structure, when it comes to spending 3 years and then saying, all right, it's officially fully your team, your franchise, your turn, Cooper Flag, that makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to me. And Kyrie getting lined up with it is, again, expected, not a surprise by any means, but it's good. And it matches everything that I think is a really logical path into the future for the Mavericks.
2 days, 2 deals done. Daniel Gafford gets his contract extension. Kyrie Irving gets his deal. And now we turn our attention to Cooper Flag on Wednesday night as he officially becomes a member of the Dallas Mavericks. So far, so good this offseason when it comes to Kyrie Irving, who, of course, is going to be coming back from that torn ACL this upcoming year, but at the same time has his deal in place to go forward with the Dallas Mavericks for the next 3 years. Our very own Mark Stein reporting a 3-year, $119 million deal being agreed upon by Kyrie Irving and the Dallas Mavericks to keep him with the franchise. And everyone has a big, happy smile moving forward for the rest of this offseason, particularly for Kyrie Irving's bank account. So congratulations to him and, of course, Riley Irving for getting that done for him on his behalf. We look forward to our coverage tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. right here on the DLLS Mavs podcast for our draft show. Of course, we'll be live watching the NBA draft right along with you as Cooper Flag presumably becomes a member of the Dallas Mavericks. Myself, Tim Cato, Bobby Krella, and Mark Stein will all be with you live throughout the entirety of the draft show. We appreciate our guy Elijah Prophet helping us out here on this Tuesday night. Thank you, sir. For more coverage, make sure you're following our guy Mark Stein at the Steinline. Of course, you can follow us all over social media, especially at DLLS_Mavs. That is our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. Kyrie Irving, 3 years, $119 million, gets it done to stay with the Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good and enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll talk to you later.
We all silly like the mayor.